as with a love affair, you don't really realize you've fallen in love until it's too late. So it's after the fact. I mean, I'm sure, I fell in love with Vietnam on one trip, and I think it was only on a return trip that I realized that I was a goner. So I went first time to South Vietnam, made very good friends, immediately recognized this incredibly beautiful country filled with proud cooks and passionate eaters, a place that looked and felt just like the movies, which is of course what I very much wanted, yet better. A place that still evoked Graham Greene's Quiet American, still all those years later.
Welcome back. In part 1, we immersed ourselves in the soul of Hanoi, finding poetry in a bowl of bun cha.
You know what? I'm going with this thing. We're going to do what's appropriate.
With vinegar.
All right.
And then you just hack off noodles. You just drop them in your bowl.
Yeah, it's not too elegant, but I'm managing.
And you dip in.
Comfort in the steam of bun suon.
Glorious steaming bowl of rice noodles with spicy chilies, a rich, hearty, porky broth with pig's knuckle and snout. It's the only item on the menu, and it's good.
Taro.
And a profound sense of community over glasses of bia hoi.
Yo! Welcome back. Welcome back. Cheers.
We witnessed the quiet artistry of Ban Quan.
Oh, that's right.
Learning that in Vietnam, every street corner holds a different philosophy. Now, our journey continues south. We leave the subtle elegance of the capital behind to chase bolder, more intense flavors. First, we travel to the imperial city of Hue, where history is simmered into a soup so magnificent, Bourdain called it the greatest in the world. Then, we'll discover how a simple sandwich in Hội An can tell a story of centuries, and finally, embrace the generous, open-hearted spirit of Saigon through a sizzling, joyful crepe. The journey gets deeper, the flavors get louder. Join us as we uncover the rest of the dishes that made Anthony Bourdain call Vietnam home. 5. Bunbo Ha, spicy beef noodle soup from Hue. Leaving behind the elegant subtlety of Hanoi's cuisine, Bourdain set foot in Hue, the city of imperial tombs, of a serene beauty, and of an intricate and complex royal cuisine. He didn't seek out fancy restaurants. Instead, he dove straight into the city's beating heart, Dong Ba Market. Amidst the bustling trade, among the countless colors and sounds, he found a dish that could represent the very soul of the region. It was a bowl of noodles that challenged all his preconceptions about pho. It wasn't pho, but Bunbo Ha, the dish that made Bourdain exclaim, "It's the greatest soup in the world."
This is as sophisticated and complex a bowl of food as any French restaurant. It really is the top of the mountain.
This was not a fleeting compliment. It was the awe of a culinary expert before a masterpiece. The complexity of the broth, spicy, rich, fragrant with lemongrass crab cakes and pork hock, all crystallized in a bowl of noodles that could overwhelm a Western palate. For Bourdain, this was a symphony of intense yet strangely harmonious flavors. The broth is simmered for hours from beef and pork bones to extract a deep sweetness. But the secret lies in two key ingredients: lemongrass and mam ruok, fermented shrimp paste. The distinct aromatic lemongrass blended with the rich, unique flavor of the fermented shrimp paste creates an unmistakable layer of flavor. The reddish-orange color from annatto oil and the tongue-scorching heat of chili paste are the dish's bold declaration. On top are tender slices of beef shank, a hefty pork hock, sweet and chewy crab cakes, and smooth cubes of congealed pig's blood, all served with thick, round, chewy noodles. Experiencing a bowl of Bunbo Ha at Dong Ba Market wasn't just a meal, it was a lesson. Bourdain realized that Hugh's cuisine, much like the city itself, hides an incredible depth behind its peaceful facade. And Hue, that quiet city, taught him that spicy isn't just about the chili, but about cultural depth. The spiciness of Bunbo isn't just a sensation on the palate. It's the spiciness of history, of a royal culture that demanded sophistication and intricacy in every detail. It reflects the character of the people here, unassuming on the outside, but with an intense and passionate inner world. For Bourdain, this bowl of Bunbo Ha was the perfection of the maximalist school of cuisine. It is not minimalist, it's complex, it's powerful, it demands attention, and it's unforgiving. And it was in this perfectly balanced complexity that he found the greatest soup in the world. It was a revelation, an affirmation that the greatest flavors sometimes come from the most humble of places, like a small stall in the heart of a Vietnamese market. If you're still watching and found this information helpful, let me know by commenting the number 5 down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Your support helps us continue to create quality content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's get back to it. 6. Clam Hen, Hue's Clam Rice. If Bunbo Ha was an eloquent culinary declaration, then Clam Hen is a quatrain, a short poem dense with meaning. Bourdain moved on from the complex flavors of royal cuisine to seek out a dish of the working class. It's a dish so humble that a Western tourist might easily overlook it. But Bourdain was captivated by the harmony within its simplicity. Rice, stir-fried clams, crispy pork rinds, fresh herbs, and fermented shrimp paste. He found a small stall where the vendor deftly mixed the ingredients, a scene that seemed chaotic yet was entirely purposeful. The foundation of the dish is cold, day-old rice, a key detail that speaks to its frugal origins. The rice is fluffed up, then topped with a spoonful of savory stir-fried clams with vermicelli. But the magic lies in the components that follow. A chorus of textures and flavors begins, the fatty crunch of crispy pork rinds and roasted peanuts, the freshness and a slight bitterness from finely chopped fresh greens like banana blossom and other herbs, and especially the slices of sour star fruit. Everything is bound together by a bit of pungent Hue-style shrimp paste and the heat of chili. Served alongside is a small bowl of hot, sweet clam broth, meant to be sipped separately or poured over the rice to soothe the intense flavors. It's an all-in-one dish, a perfect balance of hot and cold, crunchy and soft, rich and refreshing.
Clams with pork cracklings? How could that not be good? This is the way so many of the great meals of my life have been enjoyed. Sitting in the street, eating something out of a bowl that I'm not exactly sure what it is. Scooters going by. So delicious. I feel like an animal. Where have you been all my life? Fellow travelers, this is what you want. This is what you need. This is the path to true happiness and wisdom.
Bourdain realized immediately that this was not just a recipe. This was a story of survival and ingenuity. Clam Hen is Hue. It is how the poor transformed the fewest of ingredients into something memorable. From the tiny clams caught in the river and the leftover bowl of rice, the people here resourcefully created a dish with layers and depth, capable of captivating anyone. It is the pinnacle of a waste-nothing philosophy, where every component, no matter how small, has its own role and value. In the moment of savoring the harmony in that humble bowl of clam rice, Bourdain found one of the biggest reasons he so admired this country. This is what made Bourdain respect Vietnam, its resilience and creativity in the face of hardship. He didn't just see a dish, he saw the national spirit. It was the ability to face adversity not with complaint, but with skill and a phenomenal will to create joy and beauty from what you have. For Bourdain, Clam Hen wasn't just a delicious meal. It was a profound lesson in human dignity and strength, the soul of a culture that knows how to turn hardship into a masterpiece. 7. Mi Puang, Hội An. The journey south brought Bourdain to Hội An, the ancient trading port, a crossroads of many cultures, and no dish tells the story of that fusion better than the banh mi. If Vietnamese cuisine has a global ambassador, it is this colorful and flavorful baguette. Among the countless banh mi shops in Hội An, Bourdain sought out Mi Puang, a name that has become legendary. Here, he found the perfection of a dish that seems simple but is incredibly complex. A baguette, cracklingly crisp, stuffed with pâté, cold cuts, pickled vegetables, and fresh herbs. It is the pinnacle of French-Vietnamese culinary fusion. The French legacy is evident in the baguette crust and the rich pâté, but that's just the starting point. The Vietnamese people adapted and transformed the French baguette, creating a version with a thinner, crackling crust and a soft, airy interior, a perfect vessel to hold a multitude of fillings. And those fillings are where the Vietnamese soul is most clearly expressed. Savory slices of char siu pork, soft pork sausage, chalua, various house-made cold cuts, and especially the shop's own secret sauce. Everything is delicately balanced by the clean sourness of pickled carrots and papaya, the freshness of cilantro, and the zesty heat of a few slices of green chili. Bourdain loved how Vietnamese banh mi turns simplicity into art. He said that the banh mi here transcended the category of a sandwich. It was no longer a quick meal, it was a complete culinary experience. When he took a bite of the banh mi here, he couldn't hide his excitement and exclaimed, "This is a symphony of flavors inside one piece of bread." And that's exactly what he felt. That symphony had every note. The crackling sound of the crust, the richness of the pâté and meat, the clean sourness of the pickles, the fragrance of the herbs, and the spice that awakens every sense. Nothing clashed. Instead, every element supported and elevated the others into an astonishingly harmonious whole. And it's true. This street food dish encapsulates an entire culture. The banh mi tells a story of history, of French cultural influence, and the Vietnamese ability to absorb and creatively transform. It embodies the philosophy of balancing the five tastes, ngu vi. It's an icon of street food culture, convenient and affordable, yet its quality and flavor are second to none. For Anthony Bourdain, Mi Puang wasn't just one of the best sandwiches he had ever eaten. It was a living history lesson, a work of art wrapped in paper, and the most brilliant testament to Vietnam's ability to take a world heritage and transform it into something uniquely and wonderfully its own. If you're still watching and found this information helpful, let me know by commenting the number 7 down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Your support helps us continue to create quality content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's get back to it. 8. Ban Zao, Ho Chi Minh City. Upon setting foot in Saigon, Bourdain immediately felt a different kind of energy. This city didn't have the serenity of Hanoi or the ancient charm of Hội An. Saigon is a machine that never stops running, a place of commerce, of people who are dynamic and straightforward. And amidst that bustling pace of life, he found a dish that was as loud, cheerful, and generous as the people themselves. That dish was banh xeo. It was the dish that made him use his hands, squat down, and laugh heartily. The name xeo is onomatopoeia, mimicking the sizzling sound the rice batter, mixed with coconut milk and turmeric, makes when poured into a searing hot cast iron skillet, creating a cheerful and inviting sound. Once cooked, the crepe has an eye-catching golden yellow color with a crispy-edged crust while the center remains soft and chewy. Inside is a filling of shrimp, pork belly, and sweet fresh bean sprouts. But what impressed Bourdain the most wasn't just the crepe itself, but what came with it. A giant platter of impeccably fresh greens with all kinds of lettuce, mustard greens, perilla, and fish mint, along with a skillfully mixed sweet and sour fish sauce. That crispy golden crepe carries not just flavor, but also the spirit of the South, open-hearted and generous. That generosity is expressed in the size of the crepe and the abundance of the accompanying herbs, a sense of plenty with nothing held back. And then came the best part, how to eat it. This is not a polite knife and fork affair. He loved how it's eaten by hand, shared, and gotten joyfully messy. You have to use your hands. Take a large mustard leaf, place a piece of the hot crepe on top, add other herbs, roll it all up into a large bundle, and then dip the entire thing into the dipping sauce. It's a communal act that encourages sharing and breaks down all barriers. Bourdain was completely delighted by this experience. The act of having to roll it yourself, dip it yourself, and sometimes let the sauce drip down your hands. For him, that was the authentic joy of street food. There are no rules, only enjoyment. For Bourdain, banjeo was the perfect embodiment of Saigon. It's loud, the geo sound. It's vibrant, the yellow from the turmeric. It's open, and it invites the diner to participate. It's not a dish for quiet contemplation, but a dish to be shared amidst laughter. In that somewhat messy but utterly joyful way of eating, Bourdain found the complete open-heartedness, generosity, and welcoming spirit of the people and the land of the South. Our journey in the footsteps of Anthony Bourdain through the alleys, markets, and roadside stalls of Vietnam has now come to an end. We sat down with him to eat bun cha with a president, found a quiet comfort in a bowl of pork rib noodle soup, clinked glasses of bia hoi amidst lively laughter, and marveled at the artistry in a plate of steamed rice rolls. We journeyed from the complexity of Bunbo Ha to the humility of Cam Hen, from the symphony in a banh mi to the pure joy of a banh seo. But looking back on it all, we realize one thing. Anthony Bourdain didn't just eat, he listened. And Vietnamese food didn't just pass through his stomach. It went straight to his heart.
As with a love affair, you don't really realize you've fallen in love until it's too late. So it's after the fact. I'm sure, I fell in love with Vietnam on one trip, and I think it was only on a return trip that I realized that I was a goner. So I went first time to South Vietnam, made very good friends, immediately recognized this incredibly beautiful country filled with proud cooks and passionate eaters, a place that looked and felt just like the movies, which is of course what I very much wanted, yet better. A place that still evoked Graham Greene's Quiet American, still all those years later.
He listened to the story of creativity in the face of hardship through a bowl of clam rice. He heard the pride and dexterity of the artisan in each paper-thin sheet of a steamed rice roll. He heard the history of cultural fusion told by a baguette. And most importantly, he listened to the heartbeat of the Vietnamese people. Resilient, generous, graceful, and always able to find joy in the simplest of things. Bourdain used food as a key to unlock the soul of a nation, and he showed the world a beauty that sometimes even we ourselves had unintentionally forgotten. In a life of constant motion, he found a sense of stillness on plastic chairs, in the sizzle of a banh seo, and in a steaming bowl of noodles. For a constant wanderer, a soul that never stopped searching, Vietnam seemed to offer him a place to truly stop and breathe. The peace he found wasn't in luxury establishments, but in the unvarnished truth of sidewalk life. Those moments, however small, became anchors for his restless soul. Thank you, Anthony Bourdain. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for telling our story to the world with such respect and genuine love. Your legacy doesn't just lie in films or books. It lies in the way we look again at our own food, in the inspiration that pushes us to explore other cultures with an open heart. And perhaps, if he were still with us, he would still return. Sit down at some familiar street corner, smile, and say, "Let's eat." That invitation will always remain, an invitation to connect, to understand, and to share. His journey has ended, but that invitation will continue to echo, reminding us that the best way to understand the world and each other is sometimes as simple as sitting down and sharing a meal. Thank you for taking this journey with us, for taking a moment to remember a great storyteller and the beautiful culture that so deeply captured his heart. If you believe, as he did, that every dish has a story and that food is the common ground where we all meet, we invite you to continue this exploration with us. Please consider subscribing to our channel for more journeys into the heart of food, travel, and culture. We would be honored to share them with you.